This feature, Poetic Keys, an ode to County Clare, has been funded by Comisiún na Mán with a television licence fee.
Is fórsa bio í an iliocht, ag sile ón choirí agus ag spreagan na gúníos daine dar mothúcháin. Lauríonn sí leis an anam, ag tuairt cuire dún brathnú ar an domhan tríhearcha difriúil. Ag tuairt dúsláán dar smaointe, is dar dormí. Agus ag trórú go rééis sin I dro na soléireachta. An réitigh nó na síochána inmhánach. Sa fios sa déanamid alíonn chiaí na filiachta a íle chéile le fuama na eitrach an fianó, á chasa go mástrúil ag Mícheál Ó Súilleabháin. Sáiríonn na cheol an town, ag meascail an nasc down talamh agus spirit na hÉireann, gan éireacht cultúrtha heibhir agus álacht nádúrtha a tírdreachta a bhuascailt. Fad is anna na chuid fán san air, crachíonn siad mo chala de chliomháin thrádaisiún na hÉireann, ag tuairt cuireadún, chun machnamh, chun cloine agus chun mothúcháin. Cuireann an nasca sod de ochel agus ceol tús le aistear chuachdach, áit a bhítar mothúcháin agus bríle chéile gan stró, agus iompríonn gach nóta agus versa éireacht heibhir chundaí an chlár, gach ceannachú, mar léirú ar stair, ar scéalta agus a físeanna.
In this poem, the late Paul Durcan writes his love letter to the game of hurling. Durcan is a master of poetry and humour. His poetic voice is unmistakable here as he marries the everyday detail of life with the ecstatic and surreal interior that every human life inhabits. County Clare is hurling country. And though Durcan hails from Dublin, he is fully aware of the transcendent effect that this hurling event has on his psyche, the tension, the elation, and then the deep calm he experiences in himself as he strikes out for a walk after watching the match on television. This poem is not only an ode to the great sport of hurling, but to that of the freedom we feel when marvelling at sporting virtuosity of every kind. My father, the composer and musicologist Mícheál Ó Súilleabháin, had an encyclopedic knowledge of certain echelons of Irish poetry and had a deep admiration for Durcan's surrealism and hilarity. The two had some correspondence over the years and the feeling was mutual. Durcan dedicated this poem to my father, who admired hurling from afar, but would not have known the way to Croke Park, even with a map. My father read this poem to me a couple of times and was proud to have such an artefact of Irish cultural insight dedicated to him, even if he had no idea why. We believe in hurling. To Mícheál Ó Súilleabháin, by Paul Durcan. I have such a craving for thee, O Donal Og, because you praise my days with hurling deeds. When you make leaps with your back to the goals, plucking high balls out of teeming skies, to hurl them low between the posts, deeds alone are certain good. 3:15 Sunday afternoon, in the bar of the Slievemore Hotel, on the side of the flapping mountain, pegged down in cloud, red-eyed with grief, perched on a high stool at the bar, I am staring up into a blank screen. Will nobody switch it on? The TV up there on its black bracket. Have I come out in vain in the gale and the rain? Do none of you here believe in the All-Ireland hurling final between Tipperary and Clare? If I ask the man behind the bar to switch on the television, will he? My scepticism stutters. He'll not. He smiles a barman's Japanese smile. Pictures alight on the screen, like birds on the bough. The woods of Croke Park are alive. The hurlers of Tipperary and Clare are warming up in the goals, like young fillies at Ascot, at the starting gate prancing, all halters and helmets. For 70 deluged minutes, I do not budge from my stool. I roost on my stool, making faces at the screen, big faces, little faces. At each orbit of the earth trajectory of the ball, catch, cut, hook, puck, double, solo, hop. These are the boys who are born to sweeten and delight, to bejewel and beautify. I laugh, I gasp, I frown. At the final whistle, I jump down to my feet, hug myself, I stride over to the TV, I stand under its black bracket gazing up at the great Loch Nan being interrogated after the game, tears alight in my eyes as I listen to him rhapsodize that it was the game that won the game. He cries, "The game of hurling is pure poetry, pure inspiration, pure technique. Hurling won the game today, not Tipperary, not Clare. Today we saw the greatest game of hurling we will ever see." I stride out of the bar, into the gale and the rain. I hasten off up into the mountain, bareheaded, open-necked, into the fuchsia, into the Mont Brescia, into the stick-boss solitudes, as free as a man can ever be. Hurling is the father of freedom. When Jamesy O'Connor, with a minute to go at full tilt in the middle of the park, pointed for Clare, spacemen on Mars saw planet Earth fly up out of its tree. The hurler strikes, and man is free. I have such a craving for thee, O Donal Og, because you praise my days with hurling deeds. When you make leaps with your back to the goals, plucking high balls out of teeming skies, to hurl them low between the posts. Deeds alone are certain good.
This feature, Poetic Keys, an ode to County Clare, has been funded by Comisiún na Mán with a television licence fee.